Rallyx series here at the Euro Circuit. Jim Beaver along with Hal Ridge calling the action, and as we see, got a chance to take a look at Valkenswaard earlier on this weekend. We had a nice parade with a lot of the drivers in a beautiful, quaint town here in the southern part of the Netherlands.
Steeped in rallycross history here at Valkenswaard. Some of the very early races in European rallycross ran here in the early 70s. The original purpose-built rallycross track following the sport being conceived at Lydden Hill in the UK prior to that, and that history is well acknowledged here. Rallyx has been back for a couple of years, and there was a lot of enthusiasm downtown on Friday afternoon ahead of the event getting underway. And yesterday we had a bundle of action across all of the categories, and through qualifying today it's been just the same. This afternoon it's going to heat up that little bit more in round two.
Yeah, well, and I think even talking with some of the drivers, we had Bart Bell in the booth earlier on this morning. He was saying, you know, here's a guy who's run a lot of two-wheel drive races. He's saying that might be one of the closest races he's ever seen in his life as far as the two-wheel drive open category goes. We had a beautiful race in the Supercars, the four-wheel drive open class there, and went down to the wire. I mean, things have set up. We're through qualifying. We got semifinals and finals yet to come. But Hal, I mean, what a beautiful weekend. I mean, weather has been great, and it's lent itself to some amazing racing.
Yeah, the weather is brilliant, as you say. It's an early summer King's Day weekend in here in Holland. Tonight is a massive celebration for the whole country, and tomorrow is a national holiday. So what better way to start than a whole weekend of rallycross action? We've seen some great drives through qualifying. The order's been mixed up a little bit from what we saw yesterday. We've seen some of the regulars run into issues. Victor Johansson, for example, who we'll see in a few minutes in the open two-wheel drive semi-finals, had a huge accident in qualifying, which has really mixed the order up, and there's a lot to play out in the next couple of hours.
Well, there's a lot to play out, and we're hearing rumors that there might be a chance that Nicholas Grunholm doesn't make the grid here for the semifinals, hoping somehow they can get that car together. It's not looking like it's going to happen, though, so one of the favorites going into today, we may not see him, so that opens up another podium spot potentially for a newcomer to slide in and maybe make some magic happen.
And there's such rich talent there in the open four-wheel drive category. We saw that yesterday with Kevin Eriksson desperately trying to get around the outside of Lucas Anderson in the final to make it onto the podium. It didn't quite work out. Anderson ran into a few problems there in Q3. In rallycross, it's never over. There's always something else that can catch you out. Twice we saw the leader of races, comfortably the leader of races on pace, make mistakes and drop down the order. It's never over until you cross the finish line.
I mean, the story yesterday coming out of the Crosscars, it was Eek Merstad. Beautiful drive he had going, leading the race, goes into that final corner that's become very, very slippery this weekend, and just looped the car around just enough and ceded the lead, and thought he had it in the bag with a couple laps remaining, had a field gapped by multiple car links, and just a small mistake, and it just changed everything for the rest of the race.
Yeah, and it can only be something that comes against you at that stage, and it's not always a mistake. It can be contact from another driver, it can be track conditions changing and just costing you where you don't expect it. It can all unfold in the next few minutes, and we're going to get going with the Crosscar Junior semi-finals.
Crosscar Junior had some beautiful racing through the qualifying sessions, the qualifying heats. Set the grid here for what's to come in these semifinals. Going to be taking three. Out of this one to the finals. The magic number is going to be 3. Want to be in the top 3 at the end of this one. Do a nice little tire clean there and get our last driver on the grid. Last bit of maintenance. Gravel getting pushed around pretty heavily today. Looks like we got a little bit more moisture in the track as well. Had a lot of moisture earlier on today. Those first Crosscar Junior races, very wet, very slippery. Looks like you're going to get some proper gravel out here, but going to have a little bit more moisture in the track as well. So, see that affects things. Look like we've got a dog there in the stands. Really excited to be out here, as are the rest of us, because we're getting ready to go semifinal racing with Crosscar Junior Going to be taking 3 to the finals. Moments away from getting this thing rolling.
It's everything time. So, semi-final number 1. Just what I said, Pim Klaas and Alex Antilla in the first lane, in the first row. Circle that.
All right, looking at this grid here, we've got everybody gridded up, 6 of them. We've got Pim Klaassen, who's had an amazing morning so far. Alex Antilla doing quite well as well. Jerry Huka, Mirosniks, Isak Setra in this, Mertens as well. This is a stacked class of 6. We'll definitely be looking at Pim Klaassen, though. Phenomenal effort so far today. Antilla snuck in and took a top 2 spot in his heat as well. So going to be fun to watch that from the number 2 spot. But Pim Klaassen, class of the field right now. We'll see if he can do it from the pole position. It is Pim Klaassen out front with a jump on the field.
What a start by the local driver who won yesterday, Huka, who, if you were watching the other stream earlier on, ended up in the gravel on the outside of the first corner, absolutely stuck, but got a good start and made it through the first corner. So that's a great job from the young Finn, who is now pressuring Klaassen. Oh, there's cars everywhere in the background.
Yeah, Huka, a lot of pressure there on Klaassen, coming from the 3rd spot. We got a breakaway pack up front now with Klaassen and Huka.
Difficult conditions for these junior drivers. Once again, with the track being watered to try and suppress the dust.
Huka with a big spin into the dirt.
What a shame. Again, I would need to see that again. Chose to look down at yesterday's results at the wrong moment, but Huka has had, if any luck, it's been bad. It's just been poor starts or mistakes in the first corner. It's been a difficult weekend for Jere Huka. Such a nice kid as well in the paddock. What a shame.
That's a tough break. So Pim Klaassen out front.
Miles out front at this stage. What a great job Pim Klaassen's doing in the semi-finals.
Isak Setra in the 2nd spot. Mirosniks in the 3rd, taking the Joker. Now Antilla trying to battle back, has already taken the Joker as well. Trying to get around Mirosniks. Antilla taking that Joker on the first lap. Oh, look at that. Mirosniks sliding wide. Antilla down to the bottom. Antilla going to get the spot.
Antilla, one of the regular class drivers in this category. Not a surprise. Oh. Mirosniks coming back at the Finn. The Latvian and the Finn both battling it out here. But it's going to be a little bit nip and tuck, isn't it? Antilla, I'm surprised, made that mistake to allow the door back open. With great job from Mirosniks to get up the inside. Does Antilla have a response for that? Isak Setra has been in the Joker as well up front. So the battle between Antilla and Mirosniks is for a place in the final.
Antilla working the outside, looking to the inside. Oh, look at that. It is going to be enough to open the door for Antilla. Mirosniks just dropping that wheel off the edge into the sand pit.
Antilla wise to the inside move. Mirosniks goes around the outside and drops it. There's just no grip there in the loose gravel, but 11 out of 10 for trying. Fair play.
Just sent it in there, hoping to find something that would stick, and there just wasn't anything there. As Antilla now into that transfer spot in the 3rd, going back up front with Pim Klaassen just absolutely gapping this field. Isak Setra in the 2nd spot, having a phenomenal run. Haven't talked much about Isak Setra today, just because we're having a very clean run in the 2nd spot. So right now your transfer spots, Klaassen, Isak Setra, and Antilla 1 and 2 and 3. Look at Mirosniks.
Klaassen's going to give his family-run team a bit of a headache if this pace continues, because they only plan to do this weekend as their home round. But if you win on both days,
that's Mertens there off to the side.
Cars everywhere in the background as Klaassen takes the win. If you win both days here in the opening weekend of the season, it's going to be very difficult to stay at home and not go up to Tjerp for the next round in a few weeks.
The pressure becomes immediate. Oh, now we're chasing the points title.
Yeah, rather than just enjoying the weekend for what it is. Hey, maybe they won't come up to Tjerp, but it'll be fantastic to see some of these Belgian and Dutch drivers make the trip north. Some good racing in that one.
Yeah, Pim Clausen out front early. Jerry Huka making a move early on to move up into second spot. Then Huka coming around this final corner, just loops it all on his own. And once you get into that sand, especially in a cross cart, it's not easy to get out. See there, that was Morosniks taking the Joker. Disappointment. This was a pass. Antilla getting around Morosniks. Morosniks then into the bottom, getting back around Antilla.
That was a great move, wasn't it? Really opportunistic.
And we saw settle in. We thought Antilla might be hung out to dry, and there Morosniks dropping a wheel off into the sand just enough for Antilla to get by for the transfer spot. Morosniks, though, not going to go down without a fight. Comes in really hot on the high side. No grip, just loses it. Like you said, 10 out of 10 for effort on that one. But sometimes when you're in the semi and you got to transfer to the final, you just got to do what you got to do, and just nothing there from Morosniks. So your transfer spot's going to be Pim Clausen, Sebastian Isaksetra, and Alex Antilla. 1, 2, and 3, they're transferring into the final. So we've got half of our grid set for Crosskart Junior, which means we got 3 more drivers that we're going to be looking for to transfer to that final later on this afternoon. That is Mertens there in the 15 getting pulled off. All right, so we got our next group of 6. We're going to be taking 3 out of this one to the final as well. Want to welcome in a lot of our North American viewers. I know on the East Coast of the United States right now, it's I believe about 9:30, 9:40 a.m. West Coast just waking up out there in Southern California, 6:30 a.m. So I'd like to welcome all of you to the Netherlands. We've got a beautiful afternoon here in Valkenswaard at the Euro Circuit. It's going to be Tovio and Rawmakers on the front row, Lapati and Van Glabik in the second, Van Gorp in the third. Tovio been very fast this weekend.
And again, an amazing start from pole position. Great job from the young Finn. Had an issue earlier on, lost time in Q2. Oh, runs wide, drops a wheel into the dirt. Has that opened the door?
Is that Van Glabik that snuck in there from?
Looks like it, yeah, had indeed opened the door. Now, you really have to keep your composure at this stage. Great job to get around the outside. Just carried the momentum. You could see him riding the brake with the left foot just to get the car slowed back in the throttle.
There. That's such a finesse drive. That's finesse driving.
Absolutely, yeah. Great job from the young Finn. Another new driver to this championship who's made the trip all the way down here to the Netherlands. And as we see the drivers cross the line for the first time, we'll get an idea how this is playing out.
Matthias Tovio leading out front. Jarno Van Glabik in the second spot. Rawmakers hanging in there in the third. Oh, look at that. Van Glabik dropping a tire off. Must be really slick coming out of that first corner. We're seeing a lot of drivers drop a tire off there.
Yeah, just where the dirt's been pushed on, I guess, from everyone running wide. You drag that bit of loose on, and that changes the grip all the while. That's Van Glabik into the Joker, I think, this time around.
That is Van Glabik. Is that? Couldn't see who that was, trying to make a pass for position. It is Tovio currently leading, though. Rawmakers now moving up into the second spot. Lapati in third. Van Glabik back to fourth.
And Lapati has Jokered, so that's an important pass for the other Finn in this race to get ahead. Van Glabik now needs to get an overtake done on track unless the pair of them can catch Rawmakers, which is possible. They're both within a second and a half of the Belgian. Tovio Jokers with 3 to go, just to get it out of the way. Such is his margin at the front of the order. What's happened behind? Really do have seen the Joker merge. There is the Joker merge.
It's a big gap that Tovio's got over second. That is Rawmakers and Lapati.
So Rawmakers has Jokered there, dropped to third. So Glabik is not going through unless something happens between these two. But Rawmakers has got all the makings of an aggressive overtake incoming. The car's moving around in the background. I wonder if he'll go for the lunge and try and make some headway. There we see the battle appear at the bottom of the shot. Rawmakers are all over the back of Lapati at the moment. Goes wide, will try for the undercut. Lapati's car doesn't look as comfortable at the moment as it may be.
It's looked like he's getting very upset easily. And for those of you tuning in, I mean, this is a very important battle here because both are transfer spots, but if you finish in the 3rd spot, you're on the back row in the final, and you don't want to be on the back row. It makes it very difficult to get a podium. So this is for a 2nd row spot.
Yeah, the further up the grid you can be, the better. You're absolutely right. Sideways for Lapotti through for the first corner into this final lap. We'll need to defend the inside down into turn 3. Ramakers are going to go for the big old Scandi flick on the way into the hairpin, but Lapotti maybe was just driving a bit nervous because the car looks more stable now. Doesn't look great in that transition from the loose to the tarmac there, but if you just cover the inside, it's going to be very difficult for somebody to get around the outside of you in the final corner. Meanwhile, though, up front, Tovio has absolutely smashed it in the 2nd semi-final, won by more than 5 seconds on the road to start on the front row of the final this afternoon, joining local star Pim Klaassen. That's going to be quite a battle.
I was going to say that is going to be a battle in this division up front. But if you're looking back at things, I mean, it was all Tovio right there out of the box, getting the jump on the field. Little incident there in the first corner, had a battle back. Thought Van Glavik going to have the best of him, but great bit of tiptoeing through to regain that position. And from then on, Tovio never looked back. The battle ended up being deeper in the field. See a couple of jokers early on. There's Antilla. Getting around Van Glavik. Brings us to our results. Our 2nd semifinal for Crosscar Junior. Tovio going to take the top spot, going to move to the front row in the final. We're going to have Lapotti and Ramakers also in that final. Those were your 3 transfer spots. Which means it's time to move from Crosscar Junior to Crosskart. See 88 there of Van Gorp. Get that car towed in. So you got our next group. This is Crosscar. Getting done with Crosscar Junior. Moving up into the bigger Crosscars, a little more horsepower, a little more speed, a lot more fun. He's got a couple of heavy hitters on the front row here. This is Eek Merstad and Vettel Tree on the front row. 2nd row is going to be Vlasic and Isaac Cetra. Plachetta and Timmermans. Going to round out your 6-car field. I'm very anxious to watch this front row. Eek Merstad and Vettel Tree. This is a couple of very fast drivers, Hal.
Yeah, the winner-elect yesterday before he dropped it in the final corner, and the actual winner. So there's probably one other driver that's looking on that kind of form this weekend, and Svedland will come in the next semi. But Eek Merstad will be desperate to right the wrong of yesterday, won't he, and make it through this and make it through the final.
Yeah, like we talked about, that's one as a driver, it just lives with you when it's that. Like you said, when somebody else bumps you out, you're mad, but you can't blame it. You got somebody to blame. When you do it on your own, it's not fun to go home and lay there at bed and go, what did I do? Eek Merstad, though, has been very fast today with a great jump on the field.
Brilliant start for Thomas Eek Merstad away from the line. Vettel Tree tucks in behind. It's tight for 3rd. In the run to the first corner.
Oh, mistake there for Eek Merstad.
Very close behind as well. Tree under pressure in the background. Isaac Cetra is trying to get up the inside. They're 3 wide. Vlasic in the middle as well. Vlasic running under the drone at the moment.
We're going to see where they cycle through after this final corner to in lap 1. It is Vettel Tree out front. Eek Merstad after that incident there, dropping a wheel off into the 2nd spot. Pim Vlasic, Timmermans, Plachetta, and Isaac Cetra.
Eek Merstad absolutely monstered the curves in the chicane. We've got a lot of 2 drivers run wide out of the first corner. We've got a lot of contrast on the monitor in the commentary box. So it's pretty difficult to tell these crosscars apart when they're the same
That's
manufacturer.
Timmermans with a spin there.
Timmermans just ran that bit deep. Mistake, carried too much on the way in. Just couldn't get the crosscar turned in the gravel on the outside there.
It's a very wide line.
For Plachetta. Up front though, Vettel making good of that mistake for Thomas Eekmerstad early on. Fastest lap of the race for Vettel, 38.6. 38.7 for Eekmerstad. These two are going at it up front, but there is literally nothing to choose between them.
Very tight race coming into a very tight corner here. Nothing there.
Plachetta with Norwegian, Espinese, etc. all over the back of the Life-Lift TN11. These etc. in the Speedcar Wonder are, as are these two up front. These etc. lost out on the RX3 European Championship title a few years ago in incredible style in a last lap battle with Damien Litvinovich, and has now switched to Crosscar recently. Father, well, I'd say uncle nephew outing with the two Ease Etcetras, but they must have so much to talk about on the way home when they're both risking the Crosscar category. Eekmerstad into the Joker this time around. Did the fastest lap of the race so far on the last tour. Eekmerstad's on a massive push.
We're going to see what kind of push lap Eekmerstad can have, because this time we're going to see our leader, Vettel have to take the Joker. Eekmerstad, is there going to be enough? Can he narrow the gap? Vettel, yesterday's winner, getting ready to head into the Joker.
That's Ease Etc. getting up the inside as well in the first corner. This is Vettel in the Joker for the final time of asking, but he's got a comfortable margin ahead of the pace setter for qualifying, Thomas Eekmerstad. Great job from Vettel, the JC Race Technique driver, who's going to cross the line to take victory in this first semi-final in Crosscar ahead of Eekmerstad, and Pim Vlasek's going to complete the trio of drivers that will progress to the final later on this afternoon.
What a very close race as we go back here. Big jump for Thomas Eekmerstad right out of the box. Had a little mistake early on, had to drop back to second. That was when Vettel got by. Trying to go 3 wide into that very tight corner. Doesn't work very often, didn't work this time either. We move on later in the race. Dropping a wheel off, trying to battle back. That is Timmermans with a little spin there in that hard 90-degree corner. Some of the action throughout the race. Semi-final 1 at Crosscar. It is going to be Vettel, yesterday's winner. Moving on, you're going to have a front row start. Eekmerstad and Vlasik also going to move on. Those are going to be your 3 transfer spots. We're going to be looking for 3 more here in Crosscar. This is semi-final number 2. Svedlund very fast this weekend. Van Hoof on the outside. Then we're going to have Hoeka, Bex, Willen, and Van Grieken in the mix as well. Svedlund looking to get out front, get some clean air.
Good start for Carl Svedlund, covers off the inside into the first corner. Hoeka looking at the inside of Van Hoof, nowhere to go for second and third. Bex there, launching in the background. That bump is really developing on the entrance to the Luz. Hoeka has the rear of the car, kick up, and now runs wide. I wonder if the chains come off or something on that Speedcar Wonder, because he just looked like he lost drive, immediately went to the outside.
Yes. Trying to get it started. You can see there, pushing the start button. But right now it is Svedlund up front. Doesn't want to make the mistake he did yesterday in the semifinal. Wants to transfer into this final. Svedlund, one of the fastest drivers yesterday, just found himself outside looking in when it came to transfer. And that's a tough break there for Hoeka.
I think Hoeka's lost drive over something of that order. We'll have to wait and find out later what's going on there. Looking on at the machine, a bit despondent, fair enough.
Gonna have a local caution in that corner.
Up front, Svedlund though, looking to join teammate Vettel on the front row for the final. That'll be a good afternoon for the JC Race Technique squad. As long as they both make it through the first corner, of course, because when you're side by side with your teammate on the grid, there's always a bit of jeopardy that you fall over each other. And that's the only rule in motorsport, isn't it? That you don't fire off your teammate.
No, you don't fire off your teammate. Svedlin, so out front. Van Hoof, Bex, Van Grieken, they're in the mix as well.
Massive pace from Svedlin up front. He's over 2 seconds ahead of local driver Van Hoof now.
He just continues to spread the gap. So when he does take that joker, going to have plenty of room unless there's an incident.
Taking half a second again off Hoof in the opening sector. Second sector, another half a second. The gap's up to 3 seconds. Svedlin, the reigning junior champion, is just in a lovely position now. Obviously feeling very comfortable in the car. Switched chassis manufacturer this year, as well as switching category. And I have to say, a lot of these chassis manufacturers are very, very good, but people seem to get on very well with the speed car wonder. Svedlin into the joker this time around. He's going to joker and return ahead of those behind who are yet to joker, such as his pace. Svedlin's going to cross the line, still in the lead. The gap back to Van Hoof, who is yet to take his compulsory extra route, is 2.1. So Svedlin lost 9/10 of a second, including taking the joker on that lap. He is on a huge push here.
Going to love that front row starting spot if he can continue on here. He's got a couple of corners remaining.
Never over till it's over, is it? You just don't know. So
Van Hoof in the number 3, going to have to take the longer route this time around. Going to see Van Hoof drift to the outside, taking the joker. Going to see if he got enough to clear. He's going to have plenty of time to clear Bex in the 3rd spot. So Svedlin, final corner, gets his redemption from yesterday. Going to move on to the final. It's going to be Van Hoof in the 2nd transfer spot. Dan Beck's going to take home the 3rd spot. It's got to feel very good for Carl Svedlin after yesterday. Finder's redemption going to be on the front row. As we take a look back here, it was Carl Svedlin with the hole shot early. Getting a little pressure at times. Able to play the defense very well. Van Hoof pressuring though. Wasn't anything there. The story of the day was just Carl Svedlin with a blistering fast pace to take home the victory and be on the front row in that final. It's going to be Svedlin, Van Hoof, and Bex moving on into Crosscar final. That was our semifinal number 2, which means we are moving on to I believe, a trio of 2-wheel drive open semifinals. So we're getting some of our drivers onto the grid here.
Yeah, we're going to continue with the semi-final of the Open Two-Wheel Drive. We're going to continue with the
Mannix there. Going to be really tough to beat that car there on the inside of row number 1. Van Lummel, Verhoeven, Van Hove in the mix. We've got the Hulk there in the back. We're going to be taking 2 out of this one instead of 3 since we have 3 semifinals. Hendrick's not going to be able to make the grid after that big incident into the wall. Dutch flag waves.
this is all a battle for second in my book, because let's see how it unfolds, but Mannix will be the class of the field in this one.
Good start there from Mannix. Look at the Hulk.
Poor start from Van Hove in the background. For whatever reason, Mannix with the whole shot, and yeah, I don't want to curse his form, but based on what we've seen so far this weekend, should be fairly comfortable in this field. Van Lommel defending from Verhoeven at the moment, down into turn 3.
That's a Mannix. Continue to lead here. One of our leaders electing to take the joker on that one. Mannix trying to get a good gap over Van Lommel in the second spot. Remember, we're taking 2 out of this one. It is going to be, I believe, the 33 of Van Hove pulling off. So down to 4. Taking 2. Like you said, I believe the battle's for second. Oh, we got it.
Mistake from Van Lommel, just gets stopped in the hairpin, has contact in the rear from Verhoeven. Verhoeven goes into the Joker this time around, but has the Hulk got close enough to get in the way? Yes, indeed. Hulk moves up to second, but third at the moment. Second, de facto second, if Van Lommel was to Joker now, and that's going to be an interesting battle, isn't it? Because, of course, only the top 2 go up. So apparently we're hearing from Rallyx Nittis in the tower that while we were looking at the cars go, there is the race leader. I have absolutely cursed the Mean Machine and Rallyx, because that is a catastrophe. On his own out front, has gone off into the gravel. We didn't see it in the feed. We were watching the other battles because there's been so many battles in this race. What a shame.
That is a tough one.
And that has robbed us of a great battle this afternoon.
Yeah, one of the drivers was a highlight of yesterday in that 3-car battle for the win. And gosh, you hate to see that, especially with a strong effort that he's had. So Rallyx out. We're going to be taking 2 out of this one. We got Van Lommel sitting there in the lead, but he's got to take the Joker. Hasn't taken it yet. So can Verhoeven, looks like he's going to have plenty of time. And then we're going to have the Hulk in the mix as well.
Van Lommel was in the fight last time. We had the Belgian and Dutch drivers with us at Rallyx in the final round at Estering last year, but now leading this one from the front. She's doing a good job here, Van Lommel. But yeah, this is all about trying to increase the margin to third, isn't it? What's the gap over the line? 4.4. I think she's going to do this. Sorry, 5.3 leader to third. Verhoeven is going to get this done when Van Lommel Jokers this time around. But to be in the final at your home round of Rallyx here at the Euro Circuit as part of an absolutely stacked entry in open 2-wheel drive is something you can be satisfied with for sure.
Absolutely, and there is the Joker, like we said. Verhoeven getting around.
Comfortably into the lead, Verhoeven.
The Hulk way off the pace there.
Must have an issue because that's slower than we would expect. Verhoeven drives for the line to take the race victory in quite an odd race, I have to say.
Not one we would have predicted.
Absolutely, but this is Rallycross, Jim. It just, I was sure that Rallyx had the job done. Been so consistent, so fast, very few technical issues, and has thrown it off. I think we're going to see it in the replay package. Producer Keller is telling me in our ears. Man, what a start from Rallyx. Great spot from Rallyx Nittis race director as well to let us know that the leader had gone.
And Rallyx just checked out on the field. I mean, it was over for the rest of the field. They were battling for that final transfer spot.
So let's see. It must be in the next shot, I would guess. This is the Joker split early in the race. This is when Hulk climbed a position. So the Hulk must have had a problem, although they did make it to the end.
Oh.
Rallyx is just too committed. Can we see that again, please, if we've got time in the truck? I wonder if we've got... Oh yeah, we've got it on the way in as well. If we've got it, please can we see it again? Yes, we are. Has missed the apex completely in the chicane.
Just came in way too fast.
It looks like that, doesn't it? Just looks like it's coming way too hot. Hasn't made the curb and just not got it.
I didn't even see any tire smoke like they were on the brakes or anything. I don't know. I mean,
there's a bit of smoke on the dust initially, but so unusual for someone. Bart Bell joined us in Q3 and spent the entire Q2, sorry, and spent the entire time raving about how amazing Rallyx is. Clearly, the pace is fantastic. Brilliant driver. That's a really unusual mistake to make.
Well, that is it for semifinal number 1. We're going to be transferring 2. That is going to be Van Lommel in the second spot and Verhoeven in the first spot. They're going to transfer to the final for open 2-wheel drive. We've still got 4 more to go, and if that race is any indication, it's anybody's ball game at this point. Dutch flag is waved. We are getting ready to go. It is Bex, Nans, Verkugen, and Lidman, Geenan, and Ertz. We're looking for Ertz with a strong start out of the back.
Lidman flying off the line from row 2 to challenge Bex into the first corner. Ertz is there as well. Oh, a bit of contact in the rear. Nick Nairns has been shoveled wide on the exit of the first corner. He's going to get the Mark II Escort out of the gravel, but Christoph Becks has been potentially given quite an opportunity here. Been super fast all weekend. Contact in the third corner as well. Ertz has been collected by Verkeuningen in the BMW. Lidman jokers early. That's a strange joker call from the Swedish driver. Where has that funneled out? There's Christoph Becks, the race leader. Lidman still second, I think, looking in the background. We'll see as they cross the line. Lidman's jokered from second and returned to second on the opening lap. Incredible. If that's intentional, that is incredible strategy. Nick Nairns off in the background with damage.
Yeah, we saw that issue earlier when Nairns went through the sand. Maybe something got ripped off underneath, something like that. But like you said, the story here is Lidman already taking the joker in the second spot. This is relatively unheard of to be 4 laps remaining and really got a shot at walking away with this thing.
Strategically, as a spotter, it's so difficult here because so much can happen in turn 3 and then you've got very little time to react ahead of the joker split. For anyone new to watching Rallycross or Rallyx, the joker lap is a lap you have to take once in every single race, but you can take that whenever you want. You have a spotter who's watching on the radio to give you the information to tell you what to do, but it's very difficult for the spotter to work with you here in that series of corners because just there's so much happening. It's very hard to react that quickly.
Well, now Becks has got the joker in as well, so Christoph Becks, the leader, has the joker in. Lidman, second place, has the joker in. So right now the battle is for third with Ertz and Geenen. The biggest thing is we're only transferring 2, so that battle for the podium in this one really doesn't matter so much. They need to get up and challenge Lidman.
And it's all fairly immaterial when it comes to points as well. You get points at the intermediate classification at the end of qualifying, you get points in the semi-finals and the final. But most of these drivers are not doing the championship. They're doing this because it's their headline home event. So it doesn't really matter whether you want bragging rights for not finishing last, but if you're 4th or 5th or 6th, it probably doesn't really matter at the end of the day. They're all celebrating King's Night anyway, so it doesn't make any odds, does it?
Well, so 2 to go here. We have Ertz challenging Lidman. This is for that final transfer spot.
I would say Lidman's got a bit of an issue because the gap has increased massively off the back of Christoph Becks. But seems okay out of the hairpin there.
Now Ertz having to take the joker. I didn't realize Ertz hadn't taken the joker, so now going to drop back to 4th. Verkeuningen getting around. A little bit of chaos and mix-ups in this one. So Becks and Lidman currently in the 2 transfer spots. We are on the final lap. Christoph Becks having a remarkable run.
Ertz is on the back now of Verkeuningen. All of the drivers having done their jokers, but it's immaterial really because Lidman is 10.3 seconds behind the race leader. Becks really showing his pace. Becks' best lap is a 39.7 as he crosses the line, and we're going to have to wait at least 12 seconds for anyone else to cross the line. A 42.0 is the best from Lidman. I think Lidman's definitely got an issue. Yeah,
Lidman's got to have an issue. What a run for Christoph Becks. Just a beautiful
13.3 seconds the winning margin.
It's a massive gap back to second place for Christoph Becks.
And with Rallyx having thrown it away in the previous run, this is Becks' opportunity to win big.
Well, Rallyx has been Becks' kryptonite so far this weekend, and it seems like they've been playing a game of cat and mouse. And now Becks not going to have to worry about that one into this final here. So you see Lidman there in the second spot, getting a little pressure. That was Ertz. Verkeuringen. Ertz getting back around him after that mistake. Ertz taking the joker here. Going to lose the position. As that brings us to our results, it was Christoph Becks and Eric Lidman qualifying through to the final. We're going to have one more semifinal for two-wheel drive. It's going to be our final semifinal for two-wheel drive, open two-wheel drive. We will have a front-wheel drive final as well, not enough to make a grid for a semifinal. We will have a front-wheel drive final here this afternoon. Saw those drivers in qualifying earlier today. We also will have an open four-wheel drive Pro-Am race as well. So a couple of added features when we get to our finals later on, but right now we're going to take two out of this final Final semi-final.
Yesterday in the opening round, Jim, I discussed an easier semi-final or a harder semi-final. I'd say Victor Johansson is locked in a bit here because while all of these drivers are very competitive, it doesn't have your Mainixes and your Bexes in here, and this is probably one that he can salvage a final from, which would be extraordinary after that huge accident he had earlier on with the front of the car destroyed. They got it back out for Q3, clearly it wasn't right. If he can make a brilliant start here, that could go a long way to making amends for that. He won the championship points, of course, and the best result possible. For me, the battle here on pace alone is between McGarry and Volders, because both of those drivers would dearly love to be in the final, and they'll be fighting hard for what would potentially be second if Johansson is back up to full pace and does make the same kind of start we've seen so far this weekend.
Yeah, and Johansson's been one of the class of the field, as we saw the victor yesterday in that three-way battle. So we're going to be taking two out of this. Volders and McGarry on that front row, so be looking for them. We've got Alwinche in the third spot, Johansson fourth, Garvelink and Thielen. And look at that big jump from Johansson. Trying to do it the hard way. Oh, he's getting pushed.
Wow, and just as we were talking about Mainix having a real opportunity, this is how quickly things unfold. Victor Johansson had a brilliant start and has been shoveled wide in the opening corner. Peter McGarry did well to survive that in the polo that's at the front of the order at the moment. Is it? No, Steve Volders must be leading, but is well up the road.
Does Johansson take the joker on this one? No, he does not.
I think that's wise. Don't follow in, especially behind a Super 600 car, just because Thielen won't have the ultimate pace of Johansson. Volders has gone. I don't know where Volders has gone. Peter McGarry is leading this on merit out front. But I was looking for Steve Volders, assuming he was out of the shop. But something has happened to the Belgian in that incident in the first corner. Oh, Volders is really wide in turn one. I was so excited about Johansson. We had a bit of a freeze frame, didn't we, on Johansson?
Yeah,
when he
well,
went
there was
off.
a freeze frame and a bunch of dust, and it was hard to see anything.
Peter McGarry, this is your day of days. This is when you need to absolutely nail it and make
look
the
at that.
final in Rallyx.
Johansson now getting around.
Gavalink's gone wide in the hairpin. There's been absolute chaos in these open two-wheel drive semi-finals. McGarry has a 1.4 second lead. Did the fastest lap last time around. This is an opportunity to make the final in open two-wheel drive in Rallyx. And with...
Oh, we got a red flag now.
No, what a shame. Okay, so this is a precautionary measure. We've just heard from race director Rayners. It is this incredible insight, Jim, that we get in Rallyx, that the driver in turn one, who we believe is Steve Volders, wasn't able to get out of the car, and as such they've stopped the race because they don't want to leave him there in an unsafe position. That's not unusual, is it, that if you have an impact on one side, with the window nets and all the architecture inside the car, you can't necessarily climb over to the other side, and if the door's against the wall, you're kind of stuck. So absolutely the most important thing here is that everybody is safe. So absolutely.
Yeah, and he's absolutely safe. He's going to be safe. Car doesn't look like it's in too bad a shape. So we're, the one that this plays into favor to, who had dropped back, and now it's going to be dangerous for the rest of the field, is Victor Johansson.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because he was back in third, and really, I don't know that he had a way into the final.
There is Volders out of the car, so that's a good job. I believe we're going to hear from Victor Johansson, or watch the repair work perhaps. Let's have a look at this VT. So this is the team getting the car back after Q2 earlier on. The rescue crew pushing the car into the tent, sharing with Omen. The sledgehammer's out. That's a proper rallycross tool. Look how far back the engine is, Jim. You can see the water pipe on the front of the engine in Johansson's car, and that's really what saved the day. The cooling's in the rear, and they've got a big gap there between the front bumper and look at the sand. People make sandcastles out of that sort of stuff. There's the sump guard that's been folded up. So shows exactly the job that the team there have done to get the car repaired, to get it back going. Great job from them, but also the construction of the car has really helped there. If that had happened with a steel-bodied car, which was slightly different, that would be a different kettle of fish. Now, this is the open two-wheel drive semi-final we've just watched. That is absolutely racing. It's Victor Johansson's tried to go round the outside of Peter McGarry and Steve Volders. Volders has been on the inside. Volders has actually come across there, but he's McGarry being a little bit behind the two outside cars, so Volder's on the right, Johansson on his left. The fact that McGarry's been a bit behind has just rotated the other two cars around the nose and then they've collided. That's a classic first corner racing incident. I'll be amazed if there's any penalties given for that because it's just the cut and thrust of a rally.
Very hard driving, but it wasn't nothing malicious, as I like to say. So it looks like we're going to regroup that. So in the meantime, we get them off and regrid it up. We're going to move on to Open 4. These are our supercars. They are going to be on track, and this looks like a strong list in this one. Looks like we're going to have Oliver Eriksson on the pole, as we still have Volders there off to the side.
That's Gavelink, I think.
Or Gavelink. So we've got two cars now parked. Okay. So I know Volders is parked as well, so they were pulling Volders off. We got Gavelink here, so lots of stuff.
He's beside it, and you ask them, is everything okay? Yeah, everything's okay. Thumbs up. So everything's working. Everything's running now. So the medical car is back. We have to wait for the green flag, and there it is. The pickup car is on its way back into the paddock. And then we're going to continue, and we can continue with the first semi-final of the FC2. Oliver Eriksson, together with Robin Sirma, beside him, and then in the second row Tobias Dornbach, with Mervyn Klaasen from the Netherlands. And in the third row with the well-known livery of Öhman Motorsports, Adam Öhman from Sweden in the FC2. So Adam Öhman in the livery of Öhman Motorsports. The Gavelink is out of the, that's why it is second car probably. That was the problem, it wasn't the problem with T-Folders, but T-Folders is also not coming back. So it will be, once again, another 6-car semi-final in the Open Touring Drive. Four-car semi-final in the Two-Wheel Drive Division. Also so wie es aussieht. Die Folders kommen nicht zurück. Der Gavelink wird gerade durch die Joker-Section quasi gefahren. Die Abschlussfahrzeuge des Safety Car von der KNAF, von der holländischen Motorsportbehörde sozusagen, folgt dem Lifter und man bringt der Gavelinks Auto ins Fahrerlager zurück. Peter McGarry, Michael Allemeinsee, Victor Johansson, Olli Friede werden sich noch um die zwei verbliebenen Plätze im Finale der Open Touring Drive gleich haben. So, die Gänge werden eingelegt, das klingt irgendwie klick, klack, klick, klack, klick.
All right, we've got the Dutch flag flying. This is going to be Open 4-wheel drive semi-final number 1. We're going to go back to Open 2. We're going to regroup those. Right now, though, it is the supercars. It is Eriksson and Cerna, Darbeck and Klaasen. Omen on the back row. Going to be taking 3 out of this one.
Poor start from Cerna, drops to the back. Klaasen turns in on Darbeck, lights the throttle up and just hangs on around the outside. Darbeck drops a wheel into the gravel on the loose. But it's Klaasen who climbed to P2. Up front there, yesterday's winner, Ollie Eriksson, gets away, free out front. Omen in the rear of Tobias Darbeck as well. Robert Cerna has lost out terribly in that opening few corners.
Yeah, Cerna dropping way back. Tough for him, but right now Oliver Eriksson. Oh, Cerna battling back though, look at that.
Cerna up the inside of Adam Omen in that corner inside the Joker section. Now Cerna's on the back of Tobias Darbeck. I wonder if Darbeck's used his tyres pretty hard today. The rear of Darbeck's car moving around a lot. Remember, top 3 from this go through to the Open 4-wheel drive final later on today.
Cerna's starting to put a lot of pressure on Darbeck. Klaasen, great bit of racecraft to be running there in second. Still keeping pace with Oliver Eriksson. Right now, though, the battle here is the third transfer spot. Sirna putting a lot of pressure on Darvik.
Klaassen in the Joker this time around. Wise move from Victor Ranks in the spotters tower. Klaassen still running second ahead of Darvik at the moment, and this is given a real opportunity for Ollie Eriksson. Eriksson really ought to get in and out of the Joker when possible, and then he can just back it off a little bit. We talked in the pre-show of the other stream earlier on today about the tyre management today. Yesterday, all of the drivers had 8 new tyres. Now, they only had 4 new tyres coming in today and some used ones. So you don't want to push too hard in this semi-final when you don't need to back off, save the rubber a little bit, especially if you're hoping to use at least some of these tyres in the final later on. Eriksson's gone again, but it must be in his mind now just to not push too hard, to avoid the curbs a little bit, don't get a puncture, but also don't overheat the rubber, because you might need that to take on a bigger fight in a few minutes' time.
No, I completely agree. And Oliver Eriksson, big gap here. I think you may see him take the Joker on this one. But you know, especially then, because then he knows the gap back to second. He can really lay off, conserve the tires, because we know that open four-wheel drive final is going to just tear some rubber up. But right now, it is Oliver Eriksson through the Joker. He does take it on that lap with 2 to go. Big gap still over Klaassen in the second spot. Klaassen slightly narrowing the gap to Oliver Eriksson through the Joker, but not by much. So there's going to be Eriksson and Klaassen. The final transfer spot currently is to Darvik. We're going to see if Sirna has anything for him, but last lap without an incident, I don't think Sirna is going to have enough. It is going to probably be Darvik. As they come up through this tight right-hander, very slippery through here. Darvik inching his way through. Great tight line there. Oliver Eriksson through, Klaassen through, Darvik through, Sirna through. 2 corners remaining, and it is going to be Oliver Eriksson coming away victorious. He will be on the front row. It is going to be Klaassen and Darvik. Sirna just on the outside looking in. Great run from him. Oliver Eriksson looking very strong this afternoon here at the Euro Circuit. Go back to the replay here. It was Oliver Eriksson out front early. Klaassen, big drift in that first corner. See the smoke coming off the tires, able to hold on. Darvik getting a little push there from Oman.
Victor Ranks, sorry, I was thinking about Victor Johansson. Victor Ranks climbs off the spotters tower in front of us in the commentary position, looking absolutely delighted. And you asked Marcus Gronheim about this morning, didn't you? Or yesterday, sorry, about the pressures you feel and how you feel being a spotter compared to a driver. But clearly Victor Ranks enjoying delivering that result together with Mervyn Klaassen. Great result for him behind Ollie Eriksson. Tobias Darvik making up for a difficult day yesterday as well, making it into the final. And now we have a rerun of the final open two-wheel drive semi-final with a few less cars.
Definitely a few less cars here. You know, the one to watch, though, we've been talking about is McGarry. There on the front row, had a beautiful race going until the red flag.
I've jinxed most people I've given any credit to on the grid in the two-wheel drive semi-finals, so I'm.
So I probably shouldn't even introduce any of the drivers at this point.
I think it's just me, to be honest, mate.
Victor Johansson, though, like we said, he was kind of the outside looking in. I don't know that he knew there was a way to this final after that big incident in the first corner, and now, with the way things are shaking out, he's got an opportunity here to take that second spot. So Volder's not going to be in this one, neither is Garvelink. And look at that, big jump for Victor Johansson on the outside. Peter McGarry now going to have to settle for second going into this first corner. We're going to take the top 2.
So both Johansson and McGarry need to be canny here, don't they? And just try and drive as wisely as they can to make it through to the final, because that would be some epic salvage job from Victor Johansson. And Peter McGarry has been at this open two-wheel drive game a little while now and is desperate to get into the final. Has put so much effort into this concept back home with the Polo, looking to progress into the final 6, because once you get into the final, Jim, as we've seen so far in these semi-finals, literally anything can happen. You've got to be in that last race.
That's it. It's getting there, and it's so hard to make a final. in any of these divisions. I mean, we've seen some of the top drivers not make the final. It's very difficult to claw your way through. A lot of strategy goes into play, things like that. Right now, though, Victor Johansson out front. McGarry's not going to really pressure Johansson, I don't think, much, because he's very happy in that second spot. He knows he's in a transfer spot to the final. Saving the car a bit.
But needs to get a push on, because it's only a 3.8 second gap-ish he's got at the moment. Thielen directly behind, still needs to joker. So McGarry needs to continue trying to increase the gap here and then defend if necessary. In and out of the joker. Lovely drone shot under the bridge. Johansson's not getting away here either. They're both doing a solid job. Johansson's best lap of 40.8. McGarry's done a 41.1. McGarry's going again with Johansson. As you correctly say, Jim, he'll be super happy just to follow Johansson around. And with Thielen going in this time, I would suspect McGarry might go next time just to cover off the position if the gap is there. Let's look what the gap is over the line. McGarry is 1.9 off Johansson and has a 3.4 second margin. That's a nice tasty little window to get in and out of the joker.
Yeah, I would see McGarry taking it this time.
He has to take it this time around, because
Makes
you just
a lot
don't
of
know what
sense.
might happen in the next lap.
So McGarry.
When you haven't made a final before at this level, you play conservative, don't you? Get in and out, just get the job done. Yeah, he is in the joker.
You called it. McGarry taking it. Johansson will have to take it on the final lap. I don't know if McGarry's going to be able to push enough to make a move there for first.
I don't think he'll risk it. I wouldn't risk it at this stage.
No.
You're going to bank the points, you're going to bank the position, bank the graduation to the next race. But what a job Victor Johansson and his family team have done to get the car not only repaired, but it wasn't right clearly in Q3. He was slower than we would normally expect. So obviously they've worked on it more ahead of the semi-finals. Had that incident in the first corner where unfortunately Volders wasn't able to restart, but they've done a great job, and now McGarry's under pressure for that final starting position in the final.
Well, and here's Victor Johansson through the joker, and you know, as you said, they battled back. I mean, the car, I would have thought it wasn't even going to have an opportunity, and look at that, McGarry getting a lot of pressure here with one corner to go. Going to be able to hold on to it, to that transfer spot. So Peter McGarry going to be very excited with that transfer. But going back to Victor Johansson, what they've had to battle through today, problems with the car, the big crash. I mean, most people wouldn't expect him even to be in the race here, and yet he is transferring to the final. And what an opportunity, especially after that big jump.
And we'll have to look at the winners and the qualifiers, because it's going to be all over the shop. Who won semi-final 2? I've already forgotten, it was ages ago. Let me look at some.
All right, that brings us to our results here. It was Victor Johansson and Peter McGarry qualifying in to those final 2 transfer spots to the final in open 2-wheel drive. Like we said, big storyline for Victor Johansson, just an all-around great guy, but to see what they've battled through today to get to this point to actually be in the final, it's something remarkable. We didn't even think we'd see him on the grid in the semifinals, but yet here he is in the final. So we got one more open 4-wheel drive supercar final, or semifinal yet to go. Ericsson and Anderson on the front row of this one. We've also got Casper Janssen and Nason in this as well. All right, so it is Kevin Ericsson leading the way here. Lucas Anderson putting a little pressure on him.
Anderson had a brake problem in Q3 earlier on. Clearly the JC Race Technic team have got on top of that, putting pressure on the back of his compatriot Kevin Ericsson here. Kevin lightning fast in practice this morning, just as he was yesterday. It's been a proper battle with his brother Oliver Ericsson as well up front.
Yeah, he's been one of the fastest drivers on this circuit the entire weekend. Just hasn't been able to put it together yet for whatever reason. Like we said, there's always rallycross. Casper Janssen taking the joker early on, so we're going to try and see him claw his way back into this, sitting back there in the 4th spot.
Anderson's going with Kevin Ericsson here, looking very committed down into turn 3. Ericsson firing the dirt up off the rear wheel. in the ruts in turn 3 through turn 4. They're both giving the curb a lot of respect there. That is Casper Janssen. No, sorry, that is Nason in the Joker, who's covered off Janssen, has he?
Yeah, I didn't see that. Casper must have had a problem there. Now Casper Janssen.
There is Casper Janssen. So at the moment, Casper Janssen's not making the final unless he gets an overtake done on track. But there's no better man for it. Casper Janssen is so experienced in the Supercar Lights concept. The reigning FC2 champion in Rallyx as well. He'll be massively hammering on the back door of Nason in the background. Where do you look? There's a great battle for the lead and there's a great battle for third.
Yeah, that third spot is the transfer spot, and there is Anderson taking the Joker on that one, so he's going to drop back a little bit, try and really put...
Just dropped back a bit, hasn't he? There is the battle for third in the background. Casper Janssen piling the pressure onto the newcomer at this level in Nason. Looks to the inside, will look to the inside again. They're going to be hemorrhaging time with this defensive driving, but Janssen has to find a way through if he wants to be anywhere near the podium this afternoon.
So Casper Janssen all the way to the outside, looking to the inside, trying to cut it nice and close, going to get a run off this corner. There's not going to be anything there.
Nason's doing a great job. First weekend in a four-wheel drive car. Janssen takes a big old chunk of curb on the left-hand side. It's so difficult to overtake round here at this old-school rallycross venue. Bit sideways on the exit, using these tyres up, getting to their most worn they will be up front. Kevin Eriksson has been in the Joker out of our sight and has covered off the lead. Nason sideways through the first corner of this final tour. Anderson's piling the pressure onto Eriksson, gets up the inside, there's contact, Eriksson's wide into the barrier. What a shame for Kevin Eriksson. Anderson takes the lead, Nason's through, Casper Janssen will get through as well. No, he won't, Casper Janssen stopped.
Well, this is...
What has happened there?
Casper Janssen stopped, Kevin Eriksson stopped. Right now it is going to be Anderson with the top qualifying spot.
Lucas Anderson takes the win and will start on the front row of the final.
Nason going, all right, Eriksson just trying to limp it to the finish.
Anderson, sorry, he's got broken rear suspension there, Jim. Can you see the rear wheel, the rear left wheel?
I wonder if he got into it in that corner.
Well, he hit Kevin, didn't
Kevin Eriksson. As we're going to get a replay here, well, I believe Kevin Eriksson might get the transfer spot, but
well, he's still going. He's still crawling around on the timing screen, and he got further than Janssen did. So on countback, Kevin Eriksson would get through, and based on if they don't finish, and based on intermediate qualifications. So this is the move, and no, it's not the move. It looks similar to the move.
Kevin Eriksson leading Lucas Anderson. Lucas Anderson kept continuing to put pressure on Kevin.
Anderson jokers early. That was a great joker from Anderson. Got the car nicely rotated. Just hooked the curb up on the left-hand side and ran wide. This is the move. Eriksson runs deep, Jim. Anderson's gone for the inside and they've just touched. Eriksson's got so wide and thrown all the gravel up on the outside, it's knocked the marker over. That's broken the rear suspension on Anderson's car. I would say Anderson just took an opportunistic move there. Didn't do anything particularly wrong. And in the background, Janssen's just stopped. I've no idea what happened to Casper Janssen there. I assumed he
just stopped in the middle of the... Yeah.
But he has finished, Casper Janssen. So Kevin Eriksson's retired. Casper Janssen's got through.
Okay, so we'll see Casper Janssen in the final if they can get that car back together. What an eventful final semifinal round here in open four-wheel drive supercar. Lucas Anderson transferring in. Emil Nason in the second spot. Casper Janssen finally 51 seconds back, taking the third and final transfer spot.
Yeah.
Wow, I mean, that was a wild one.
Yeah, I'm going to go find out what happened there because that was dramatic, wasn't it? And I wonder if Janssen saw Kevin in the wall and stopped thinking it was going to be a flag. Who knows? Don't know.
We have no idea what's going on, but we do know that we have our final grid set, and we have a lot more racing to come here from the Euro circuit. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, it is going to be final time for round 2 of the Rallyx series. I mean, we can come to the booth for, 20, 30 seconds. Well, it is finals time here for Rallyx here at Valkenswaard. We're at the Euro circuit. Hal, I mean, everything's been set and it's getting ready to go.
Yeah, the guys are working super hard behind us to get these FT2s turned around, ready to go in the open four-wheel drive final. It's been chaos, hasn't it? We just had a chat to Victor Johansson. There's been all sorts going on in the various different the semi-finals, and the finals are going to be incredibly interesting because the form book we had at the end of qualifying ahead of the semis has just been tossed out the window completely, hasn't it? So apart from Ollie Eriksson still being on pole in the open four-wheel drive final, the rest of it is just anyone's.
I would say Oliver Ericsson's the one consistent thing today. That's about the only thing it is. Going into the semis, you and I had an idea of who we thought might be in the finals, and that was just thrown up in the air.
Yeah, in every category, it's super close in junior Crosscar. Erik Merstad lost the lead, and it's now the JC Race Technic drivers, Tree and Svedland, who are on the front row. Open two-wheel drivers, absolute chaos. Yeah, it's going to be great. I can't wait. And of course, Supercar Lights, we didn't see them in the semis. They'll be having their final, and that's been really interesting all weekend as well.
Yeah, one of the things I like, too, is with everything being tossed up and big changes, we're going to see some new names in the finals that we haven't seen in a while. So that's got me excited to see how some of these newcomers, some of the new drivers in their first final are actually going to be able to, do.
Yeah, absolutely. I love seeing new people achieve, and, being a Brit, we love an underdog, so that's great.
Absolutely. So, yeah, we are getting things gridded up. We're going to be going racing with, I believe, front-wheel drive Open 2. So we're going to start out with some front-wheel drive cars. Haven't seen them since the qualifications earlier on today, but should make for a great battle.
So these are the front-wheel drive machines from Open two-wheel drive, given their opportunity to have their own final. A lot of them are 1600 engines from Super 1600 RX3, wherever they race in Europe, and great for them to have their own run. But the pole sitter, who would have been Hendricks, had that huge accident earlier on, and that means we are a 5-car grid for this one. So Thielen effectively is on pole, but in second spot on the front row on his own.
Yeah, that was you hate to say it, no pun intended, a freak accident that Freak Hendricks had, but it was one that just not what you like to see in rallycross. He was A-OK though, but it has shaken up the field here. Thielen going to be in that number 1 spot. We're going to have Colin there in the second spot. Then it's going to be Van Holst and Verbucht in the mix as well. So Thielen going to, by default, get the whole shot.
Thielen's been the class of the field together with Hendricks, so this could be I'm not going to say it could be a victory parade because I'll probably not do him any favours, but certainly the driver with the pace. Look how slippery it is. That's Van Hulst in the ex-Jurek Linnemann Peugeot 206. Looking around the outside of Colin. Van Hulst takes the joker for the first time of asking. Fabienne Verbucht on the standard lap. Can't quite make the most of Van Hulst into the joker, and up front, listen to those engines. Screaming, high revving 1600 engines, still sound absolutely amazing whether on a rally stage or a rallycross circuit. And it's Thielen up front with a 1.5 second advantage.
Yeah, big advantage for Thielen. Colin trying to see if there's anywhere to make up any ground. Might see a joker early out of Colin, but I don't know. Verbucht, I could see taking one as well. We're going to see how things play out this way. And no, it doesn't look like any of our drivers taking the joker that time by. So it's going to be Thielen leading. There's Verbucht. Come around there. There's Van Holst, the one driver that has taken the joker so far. Go up through the chicane. Van Holst.
Thielen driving offline there, down into the hairpin. You can see where the grip is. They've really watered the outside to suppress the dust and re-prepare the circuit ahead of these finals. And when you're not under pressure, you can mix it up a bit with the strategy lines-wise.
Got the overhead of Van Holst there, currently sitting in the 3rd spot. A great run for Van Holst to find his way to the podium.
That's Verbucht into the joker, very slippery in the front-wheel drive cars. The front wheel scrabbling around for traction. The gap now at the front of the order, 3.5 seconds. Thielen using that local knowledge, even as a Belgian, to run on the inside. Colin just getting a bit crossed up on the way down into turn 3. If Van Hulst can get a wriggle on, this could be close at the merge between those two. This is Thielen comfortably through the joker. We ride above Van Hulst, but it's going to be nowhere near close enough to trouble Colin. And this is going to be the podium positions at the end of the next tour as well, unless anything remarkable happens.
Yeah, so Thielen now on the last lap. Colin, Van Holst there. Verbucht trying to battle back into things. Quite a bit off the pace at this point. Thielen completely out of sight at this point. Battle here for second with Colin and Van Holst. Van Holst taking a little bit outside in, trying to make up a little ground. A little mistake there by Colin, pushing wide. Van Holst able to narrow the gap just a bit. Oh, big move by Van Holst. Split the difference. It looked like it was so slippery, knew he couldn't take the joker and tried to get into the main line and just slid right into the barricade.
Yet again, confirmation that it's not over until it's over. That's a big hit into the joker split. We laughed yesterday that you'd be foolish to crash into the joker split, but I have indeed done that at a different circuit, and what a shame to throw away a podium at home. Fabienne Verbucht presumably will cross the line to get that done, and she does indeed. Fair way off the leading duo, but great to finish on their home podium in Rallyx, and Van Hulst looks pretty dejected.
Yeah, we're going to look back at that here momentarily, but it was Thielen, just the class of the field today. Got out front very early. This is where Van Holst was really trying to push, trying to make up some ground. We're going to get a look here at what happened. Van Holst looked like was going to take the joker, realized couldn't, just boom, into that barricade. Day was over. Van Holst throwing the hands up in the air going, what can you do? Can't be happy about that, but doesn't look like much damage done to the car, thankfully. So it is Thielen with top honors in our front-wheel drive final of Open 2. Colin going to take home the silver medal, second spot. Fabienne Verbucht, she's going to find her way to that third and final podium spot. Now we're moving on to some Crosscar Junior. This one, I got to tell you, the number 66 car has been the absolute class of the field out here today. Tovio, just remarkable starts as looks like we are getting Van Holst's car moved away.
Und stellen sich brav hier auf, eingeleitet von Marcel Lambrecht. Einer der bekanntesten Zeitnehmer in der europäischen und internationalen.
We've got the band playing here. at the Euro circuit. We've had 2 different bands this weekend, different band yesterday than today. I've loved some of the music. Earlier on today, we had La Bamba playing, and we had a gorilla and a dinosaur dancing, and I wish I was making that up, but I wasn't. A little bit early King's Day celebration. We had King's Night tonight, and the fans are absolutely starting to turn it up a notch because it is going to be a great evening, but we got some great racing left. Like I said, we have Crosscar Junior, this final. It is gridded up. It's going to be Pim Klaassen on the pole. Matthias Tovio second. The class of field has been Klaassen and Tovio. Lapati and Isik Setra on the next lineup, and then Antilla and Rawmakers rounding out our 6-car field. All 6 of these drivers had phenomenal efforts today. Pim Klaassen with the big jump on the field. Tovio going to have to settle for second. Been a strong starter today, but not in this one. It is Pim Klaassen out front. Looked like we had a little bump there from Lapati, but nothing there.
Great start as well from Alex Antilla from the back of the grid, trying to thread the needle. Looked to the inside for P3, couldn't quite get it done.
Right, Antilla, is that Antilla taking the...
Antilla's on the standard lap on the inside, the square machine. I think that's Lapotti on the inside. Oh, that's a close merge if ever I saw one. That's Ramakers getting sideways. Lapotti gets a bit out of shape as well. Klaassen leads from Tovio. Antilla in the edge machine, as he has been for a few years now.
Lapati really getting sideways there.
Someone ran wide ahead as well, was that Antilla, as Klaassen is under the most pressure we've seen certainly today, because Tovio's been out of the running with those issues early on in qualifying. They haven't met each other on track, different semi-finals of course. Tovio in the Joker in only lap 2 is going to return to the main circuit, still in second, and now this is going to be interesting. This is all about Tovio, the newcomer, trying to smash in a hot lap. Klaassen will have to respond here, I think, because you just don't want to give an unknown quantity free air.
And Tovio, to his credit, hasn't dropped very far back. Looks like, I don't know that Klaassen's going to have the gap covered here.
2.4 it was over the line. Got to assume it's just over 2 seconds in the junior cross-car category. Don't know the exact delta. Look at them sending it into turn 3. Klaassen up front is indeed in the Joker. This is going to be an incredibly tight merge between the two of them.
Look at that, Tovio all the way to the high side. That's a tough way to make a pass. Big loop there.
Dropped it as well on the gravel. Oh, he's going to get hit by fellow Finn. Lapotti just collects Tovio.
Oh,
that was a hard impact.
That was a hard impact. No grip up there on the top. Oh, a couple of drivers very frustrated. Tovio.
Newcomers to the series, they've both shown great pace this weekend. You can't blame Tovio at all for trying the outside because it was so close. Had Klaassen had another lap, I think it would have been okay. The two young Finns meet on the bank. There'll be damage to both cars. The great thing about the cross cars is they're so modular. Yes, if you pull a corner off, it's hundreds of euros to repair rather than many multiple thousands if you damage a chassis. We just had to Victor Johansson, for example, who's bent the chassis on the big Mercedes, needs to go home and start cutting the chassis apart after this weekend. So that's a big job. This has given Klaassen a real opportunity here to just drive a bit free on this final lap. Antilla as well has done a good recovery job today. Ramakers, who's been right in the thick of the action, is going to salvage a podium if he can maintain this position to the end. That'd be a great result.
Oh, little mistake, etc. now on the outside. Looked like a little brush with the wall with Ramakers, but etc. not able to capitalize. Going to be very tough to make a pass now because you don't have an opportunity in this corner. Got a local caution. That's the way they're going to be. It's going to be Klaassen with the win. Antilla in second. Ramakers going to have to settle for third.
Junior crosscar donuts are a rarity. This will be impressive if he pulls it off. Oh, nice. Celebrating in style at home. Double victory here at Valkenswaard this weekend.
Got everybody doing donuts. Pim Clausen, the class of the field today, very strong throughout the qualifying heats, the semifinals. Proper victory to end the weekend for Pim Clausen. They're just burning the tires off of these cross carts. So go back, and it was Pim Clausen out front early. Tovio, a little bit of a challenge. Lapati there in the mix as well.
This is Ramakers getting around the outside initially of Lapati. It'll be the next merge we want to see. Tovio trying to get around the outside of Clausen.
Just couldn't hang on, not enough traction up top. Kind of backed it in.
Oof, this isn't particularly nice, is it? Ooh.
Just barely clipped it. Tough there.
That was a big impact. I'm glad they're both okay, because not ideal for either of them.
Yeah, tough for Lapati. So we go back and look at the rest of the field, and the celebratory donuts for Pim Clausen. Going to find his way to the top of the podium later on this afternoon. Brings us to our results for Crosscar Junior. Pim Clausen, top honors. Alex Antilla, great effort to finish up in second. Lois Ramakers settling for that third spot. Isak Cetra just a little bit about 2/10 back in fourth. Great run there, just couldn't find the way to the podium.
From Estonia, from the team OMSA. Mervin Clausen in row number 2.
Open four-wheel drive Pro-Am final.
Pro-Am final.
Robert Cerner on pole, Darbach, Clausen and Oman in this one. Remember, Bart Bell won this race yesterday, but has been absent since practice with that transmission issue, so there'll be a new winner today, and actually given the grid, it'll be a first ever winner at this level.
Siren and Darbach both having great runs today. Oman been quite strong as well. Looks like Sirna going to get the lead heading in. Oh, look up on the inside. Oh, it looks like Sirna getting pushed out into the dirt.
Aggressive move from Clausen to squeeze through on the inside. I didn't think the gap was there, but the gap opened up. Clausen sunk the FC2 through the gap, runs a bit wide on the exit of turn 3. Now he's going to get back to the inside in 4 to cover off the line from Cerner. Into the Joker goes Tobias Darbach around the outside. Super sideways from the Dane. Oman gained a spot.
All right, so now it goes back up to front. Sirna trying to get around Clausen. Clausen with that great pass on the opening lap. Sirna now stalking back there in the second spot. Not going to be happy with giving that lead up. Got the whole shot early. Great bit of driving for Clausen to get around. We're going to see if Sirna has anything into these interior corners.
Cerner's had good pace this weekend, but was frustrated yesterday. Looks to the inside in turn 3. Side-by-side contact between the two drivers. Will look to the inside again in this left-hander. Oh, Darbach spun in the background. That'll give an Oman an opportunity to finish on the podium. Oh, Cerner just touches the wall, it looked like, on the inside there. He's all over the back of Clausen.
Well, it looks like Cerner's got the speed to get around Clausen. Clausen doing a great bit of defense. Cerner making little mistakes here and there, making it a little bit tough to get up on the bumper of Clausen as we go through Per Eklund corner. Cerner down
sideways.
low.
Cerner's going to get another good run on Clausen here. Clausen just lost that little bit on the exit. Cerner goes wide. Will look for the undercut. Victor Vanksby on the radio to Clausen saying, cover the inside. Flames fly from the back of the FC2. Robert Cerner's going to go into the Joker this time around.
So Oman there now into the second spot. Oman's going to have to take the Joker as well. So Clausen and Oman 1 and 2 both going to have to take the Joker. Cerner right now in third. Going to have to put on a great push lap.
I think Cerner's Joker the lap too soon, to be honest, Jim, because Oman doesn't have the pace at the moment of the leading duo, and actually Cerner's going to lose out here in this fight. Clausen, does Clausen Joker now? I would leave him out. If I was Victor Franks, I'd leave him out.
Oh, big mistake there by Clausen, though.
He has to stay out now. There's no choice. If he Jokers now, he's going to be third, and that's Oman Jokers now. That's a massive reprieve for Cerner, because Cerner can close now on the back of Klaassen.
So Cerner is closing on Klaassen. You see claw, I mean, we've got meter after meter just clawing it back. So we're going to see if Klaassen has the pace on this last lap to put a gap onto Cerner so he can make the move to the Joker.
Klaassen could really have done with Omen staying out for another lap just to try and hold Cerner back. The gap is 1.4 seconds. Klaassen needs to absolutely nail these couple of corners, but Cerner is looming large in the background. Klaassen's in the wall on the outside, feeling the pressure of driving at home. Cerner, the former Crosscar event winners, on the inside, is going to take the lead.
Oh, Cerner with a great pass there as Klaassen gets hung out on the Joker on the final lap. 1 corner to go. Can Cerner hang on? It is going to be Cerner at the line with the victory. Klaassen going to have to settle for second. Omen with a great effort in third, and Darbeck finishing up in fourth. Cerner putting his hand out, waving to the crowd.
We had a drink with Romet Cerner and Marcus Gronholm in the beer last night, and Romet was just saying he was learning, and it's a big task to learn these four-wheel drive cars on such a technical circuit. He just wants more laps, wants more data, wants to get more in the game. He's driven with Pace Motorsport the last couple of years in Crosscar. Done a good job there, but this was an interesting first corner. Klaassen, starting third on the grid, was forceful in turn one, really opened the door up. I don't think there was anything wrong with that at all, because the door was partially open. He just put the nose in to open it wider.
Just very aggressive driving, which is proper. Here you got Darbeck taking the Joker early.
Darbeck later spun, didn't he? I wonder if we're going to see that in this replay. There's a bit of side-by-side contact with Cerner and Klaassen. I think Klaassen ultimately just felt the pressure driving at home, leading a big four-wheel drive race, which is absolutely fair enough. Darbeck spun there. I wonder if it's gone off the timing screen. I wondered if Darbeck had a impact somewhere that maybe broken a part of the transmission, because it was a strange spin at that part of the corner.
It was a very strange spin. Cerner then setting his sights on Klaassen. Klaassen being forced to take the Joker on his last lap. Cerner going to slip by on the main line, and Klaassen going to have to hold on for second. Brings us to our results of the Open Four-Wheel Drive Pro-Am final. Cerner top honors, Klaassen a little under a second back. Omen with a great effort to find his way to the podium as well, and Darbeck going to have to settle there for the fourth spot. Drivers just getting things warmed up because we've got our Supercar final yet to come, but right now we're moving on to Crosscar. Crosscar, we got some big names in this one. Svedlin and Tree, yesterday's winner. Ik Merstad, Van Hoof, Vlasic, Bex. Loaded field of 6 drivers. Going to see if Svedlin can keep the pace he's shown earlier today.
Brilliant start from Carl Svedlin, not such a great start from Vettler. Tree on the front row. Thomas Ik Merstad, the other Norwegians, climbed up to second. Little clip of the inside for Ik Merstad, picks the inside rear wheel up. Tree's on the back of Merstad. Remember, Tree overtook for the lead yesterday down into this corner. Tree's hard on the back of Merstad as well, got the wheel on the inside. There's fighting going on further back, but Carl Svedlin, the reigning junior champion, is in the hot seat in this Crosscar final.
Svedlin with a great effort early on. Got one of our drivers taking the Joker. Now we're going to go back up front. Can Svedlin hang on? Going to start getting a lot of pressure here from Ik Merstad.
Almost a second gap to Ik Merstad behind.
Hooking a rim there, hooking the wheel there on that. That's tough on a cross cart.
It is tough, and you don't want to debeat the tyre. By that I mean you don't want to push the tyre off the edge of the wheel. It's not exactly a puncture, but you do get all the air coming out very quickly indeed. Need to be careful, but at the same time you're trying to extract every 10th of a second you can out of this race circuit.
All right, so Svedlin's still leading. Ik Merstad in the second spot. Only driver to take the Joker so far is Bex.
Bex having a bit of a moment there in the background on the standard lap. The gap was 0.8 of a second last time around. Svedlin does increase that to 1.2. 1.7 ahead of Tree, the race leader. Ik Merstad does not have a response at the moment to Carl Svedlin.
Ik Merstad showing great pace all weekend long, but right now Svedlin the best of the field. Looks like he's going to take a mistake for Svedlin, and Ik Merstad now sliding out, taking the Joker, going to drop back a few positions.
Oh, this is going to be close at the merge. Van Hoof runs wide, just manages the throttle, tries not to spin the rear of the car around, keeps it going in a straight line. Great job from the Dutch driver, and that was a really good strategy call for Thomas Merstead to get into that free air, to come out behind Tree but apply the pressure from behind. It's a JC Race Technique 1-2 at the moment, but Svedland and Tree both need to joker yet. For sure, Merstead will get ahead of Tree when his compatriot jokers ahead.
Last lap
right
by
now.
You're going to say last lap by Tree, a hair quicker than Svedland.
They've both been in and out of the joker. Svedland's ahead. The gap's been closed a bit by Thomas Merstead, but there's just a lap to go. Svedland could be on for quite a result here if he can just manage the next few corners.
All right, so Svedland leading. We've got Thomas Merstead in the second spot. A couple of car lengths back. Oh, we got all kinds of smoke coming out of the back. Merstead, I don't know what quite happened there. It looked like one of the fenders flew off, created a little bit of chaos there. Right now, though, Svedland through the main line.
The wheel arches are generally consumable on the Crosscar. They're so flimsy, they're there for show more than anything. But round the final corner, Carl Svedland takes the win in Crosscar on his debut weekend at this level. The junior Crosscar champion continuing to drive with JC Race Technique. What a result.
What a result for Svedland. Great pace. Merstead battling back for second, and Vettel Tree with a double podium on the weekend. Win yesterday, third place today. Got to be very happy with that for the opening weekend.
That's how you build championships, isn't it? Just by being there consistently, scoring good points. Didn't make the best start in the final, and then ultimately I think that's what ruled him out of the fight for victory, because it was that battle with Thomas Merstead as the local drivers fought amongst themselves further back. But the class of the field really, Svedland, Merstead and Tree this weekend, certainly today. And while Merstead will be disappointed not to have won on either day, given that he's had amazing pace, he'll be a little bit less disappointed, I guess, driving home in the next 24 hours, knowing that he's been on the podium this afternoon.
Yeah, there was that bit of smoke, and it looked like one of the fenders flying off one of these cross carts. Didn't get a chance to see. Oh, that is, look at that. I believe that is our leader.
It was Svedland's that came off, wasn't it? And then I think Merstead ran over it, but no harm done.
No harm done, and Svedland bringing it home in our Crosscar final with top honors. Thomas Merstead second, Vettel Tree finishing up in the third spot. Great opening weekend for Vettel Tree. First yesterday, third today. Van Hoof, Vlasic, Bex settling for sixth place in the number 205. So we got Crosscar done. Means we're moving on to Supercar Lights next. Haven't seen the Supercar Lights since qualifying earlier on today. Had a great battle yesterday in the Supercar Lights. This is our final. It's going to be Vittels and Otting. Vittels been the class of the field so far today. Lindquist and Darbic in the second spot. Mads Larsen and JVD Van Dassler in the sixth and final spot. Vittels in that pole position. Going to be tough to beat. See if we can keep it perfect.
Very even start across the grid. Larsen gets squeezed to the inside by Darbic. Lindqvist doing a great job on this debut weekend in the class, as is Otting. Otting has actually raced a supercar before in the Ford Focus he drove last year, the Bart Bell car, while Lindqvist is making his four-wheel drive debut here in Holland.
Vittels out front. Vittels dangerous out front. Got the pace to run away from the field. We'll see if the rest of the field has anything for him, as we've got a couple of our drivers taking the Joker. That looked like it was Darbic and I believe JVD Van Dassler taking it.
Otting just shadowing the black machine with Robert Vittels. Vittels has taken a clean sweep so far, fastest in every session in the Team Fair and supported Supercar Lights machine. Otting looking well on top of that car now. Remember, Otting got spun yesterday in the final by Larsen. Runs wide on the way in to turn 4, clearly very comfortable with the gap he's got. 0.6 of a second at the moment over Otting, the local driver who will know this track so much better than Vittels, but Vittels is so experienced at this level and higher.
Yeah, Vittels just having a proper race here. All of our leaders, top 4, Vittels, Otting, Lindqvist, and Larsen, yet to take their Joker. Right now, though, it is Vittels out front. Small gap over Ottink, though. You got to give Ottink a lot of credit, not letting Vittels run away with this one.
Drives all sorts of cars, does Ottink, and that can only help your knowledge base, can't it, when you're driving front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, four-wheel drive. You just glean all this information all the time. Larsen under pressure from Darbach here. Darbach has been in the Joker, so this is going to really harm Darbach's opportunity to be on the podium because he's just losing that bit of time in this battle. Larsen yet to go into the extra route. The gap between Lindqvist and Darbach is about 3 seconds, so that's going to probably be an insurmountable mountain to climb unless Darbach can get ahead of Larsen and smash in a great lap.
Yeah, right now, not making any mistakes, though. Getting a lot of pressure, Larsen is. That looks like Ottink going to be taking the Joker on this one.
Larsen does Joker as well behind Ottink. Oh, and Ottink's hit the wall at the Joker merge. You can see the front right suspension's broken on the Supercar Lights machine. Have a look back in the background. There's the battle we want to see. Ottink makes contact with Darbach. What? So unnecessary between the pair of those drivers. Darbach goes wide into the gravel. Ottink's off as well.
We got more contact up front.
This is...
What is going on out here?
Larsen's got through as well. This is...
Looks like we got damage on the front. It's going to cause a flat there as Vittels just running away with this one now.
Vittels, meanwhile, through the Joker lap into the final corner. The Latvian driver, stunning performance today in Supercar Lights, takes the victory. Lindqvist is going to go one better than yesterday, Jim, to finish second. Who's going to be third? It's going to be Larsen, who we were saying was holding back Darbach, but with all the chaos there on the last lap and a half.
I can't wait for the replays to see what actually happened there. I think you and I were just, it was chaos. There was stuff going on all over the place.
So I think Ottink's hit the wall in the Joker lap, and then Ottink and Darbach have come together later on that lap. Let's have a look back at the start.
So then Vittels getting the whole shot.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about Vittels. He took the lead and led and won. That was he had a lovely clean race as he would love to have. So often your races don't go like that, do they? So let's have a look further back. This is Larsen and Darbach battling. This is Ottink in the Joker, so let's have a look. Opens the steering up, runs a bit wide. Okay, the suspension's already broken on the Lights car. He hasn't hit the wall in the Joker lap.
So the suspension was broken, but it wasn't a wall hit. It just something broke and let go.
He may have hit it somewhere else that we didn't see. So this will be fascinating. So Darbach's gone to the outside here,
trying to get around the slower driver.
Ottink's turned left.
Bumps Darbach.
I have.
I don't think Ottink could steer at that point. I think it was just he was along for the ride. Yeah, look at that right front. At
that stage, you have to stop though, don't you? So I think he's just desperately trying to hang, based on the fact that he kept dragging the car around. I think and then he's got into Larsen. I think that's yeah. I struggle with that a bit, to be honest, because it's just caused a whole load of damage for no reason. Now, it might be all fair enough, and it's very different from the driver's seat, I know. But yeah,
I think Darbach's got every reason to be frustrated there. Oh, what a Supercar Lights final. Vittels top honors, Lindqvist in second. Great effort to stay clean, and then Mads Larsen taking advantage of all of the chaos, seemingly out of it, moves into a podium spot. Wow, that one was very eventful, especially on that last lap. That's why you love Rallycross. That's why we love Rallyx. Anything can happen, and it sure did in that one. As we get another look here, look at that big bump there. Ottink into Darbach, and then just rips it around again. And that front just completely collapsed there on Ottink. And Ottink's still staying in it, and
This is the thing for me, is the car's already broken and you're still pushing the car in front. That's, yeah, that's tricky. Okay, so I've had a very clear message from Reiners Knitters in my ears who says it's absolutely unacceptable. So we've lost the timer screens. Moved on to the next race, of course, but I assume that means a black flag. Maybe Reiners can confirm. Okay, so black flag and a trip to the stewards. That's a fairly, yeah, that says a lot. open two-wheel drive, and this final is going to be super interesting indeed.
All right, so Beck's finally going to get that clean air from the pole. Verhoeven, Johansson, Van Lommel, McGarry, and Lidman. Great group of drivers. Big jump there by Victor Johansson from the second row. Beck's finally getting that clean air he's fought for.
Contact in the first
over
corner.
The top.
Van Lommel, I think it is, has driven over Lidman. Now there's further contact behind because Verhoeven, I think, is trying to get through Lidman as well. Absolute chaos in the background.
So I think we only have 3 cars remaining out here.
Bex leads, Johansson second, Van Lommel is third. Poor Brandon Snittis is going to be
yeah, he's going to have his hands full with this one.
Earning his money this afternoon. There is Lidman there.
Okay, so Lidman is continuing on and was collected with another car earlier, somehow broke free. We've got a local caution here in turn number 1. Beck's big gap, though, over Victor Johansson. Lidman the only one to take the Joker, trying to somehow get back into it, throwing strategy at things.
This will be amazing damage limitation for Victor Johansson. He'll be super happy, I think, to sit behind and finish second in this one. Of course, every racing driver, every time they get in the car, wants to win. But considering the car was destroyed earlier, he told us off air before we came back on for the finals that the front chassis legs were half a metre pushed in the wrong direction. So for Q3, when he was really slow, they put a standard steering rack on the car just to get him through. He said it had about 3,000 turns lock to lock. Then they rebuilt a proper steering rack in competition 1, put that back on for the semi-finals. They've done a lot of work. They'll know that Bex isn't doing the full season. So this is all about just trying to manage the points loss, get a good result, and head up into Scandinavia for the next couple of rounds.
All right, so there is Victor Johansson taking the Joker. So Beck's going to extend his lead. Now Johansson going to try and push. We'll see if there's anything there. Right now Beck's just going to have the rest of the field on lock. We go back to Lidman, who is still continuing to battle through with a lot of damage there. White smoke coming off the right front. He's in the 4th spot, just continuing on to try and get those crucial points. Van Lommel in the 3rd spot. Right now Beck's out front. We're going to see if Beck's pulls the trigger on the Joker this time by a big gap. I could see him doing it. Yes, Bex goes through the Joker. Big enough gap. I don't think Johansson's going to have any shot at him.
You could park a ferry in that gap, couldn't you? I don't think Victor's on full form, is he? Which is fair enough. Doesn't need to be at this stage. I wonder why Peter McGarry didn't start the final. That's a real shame for him, because in all this carnage, a podium was possible here. But obviously they had issues at the end of the semi-final. He lost a lot of time, actually, didn't he, in that battle just to make it through to the final. Shame for the Irish driver, but at least he qualified. Bits of composite bodywork everywhere on the exit of the first corner.
There's Van Lommel through. That is our 3rd place driver. So
I wonder if anything will happen about the first corner. I wonder if Rainer Snitters is listening to us. I know he's very busy dealing with other stuff as well, but if he's made any kind of decision from turn 1, that would be interesting. But up front, Christoph Bex is going to cross the line to win. Finally, after a lot of battling all weekend, having great outright pace, Christoph Bex claims victory. Is as good as a home race for the Belgian driver here in Holland. Stunning performance, and really the final just came to him, Jim. He didn't have a lot to do in terms of battling, because the hard work had already been done by getting on pole position.
Yeah, just kept it clean. We, like you said, we knew he had the pace all weekend long. Manix somehow was able to outsmart him a couple times through the Joker. Really prevented Bex from being able to charge and get that number 1 spot. But finally putting it all together here in round number 2 in this final here in 2-wheel drive open class. Got the whole shot early. Here's where the chaos came in. Lidman just drove over, got driven right over the top. Lidman looked like was holding his line and just...
I'd like to see that again, because I also think that could be a bit of a first corner kerfuffle. What's gone on there afterwards. It's tricky just to keep your foot in and try and bar someone out of the way, but that's the red mist of driving a racing car as well. So while they clear this up, let's have a look at the result. Dun, dun, dun. Christoph Bex from Victor Johansson and Ariane Van Lommel. I wonder if we could see the first corner again while we see this clear up, just to see if we can analyse this contact a little bit more. Maybe it could be slowed down a little bit. we won't trouble Rallyx Nittis at this stage, given that he's probably very busy. The cars are being collected. Okay, let's hear from Rallyx Nittis. Well, we've got this pause, Rallyx. Let's have a very quick word on that Supercar Lights final. Bit of chaos, a lot of damage. Just give us a brief summary.
No, I thought you will ask me about open two-wheel drive. Supercar Lights was long time ago already. But number 17, yeah, black flag, and that I mentioned to you already that it's not acceptable. For sure, the driver felt that his car is completely broken. He tried to destroy the race for one driver, and then the other one tried to pass him, and he tries to destroy his race. So that's not how we do here in Rallyx. We try to drive clean and fast, not dirty.
Thank you, Rallyx. And just quickly, that first corner in the open two-wheel drive final, yeah, a bit of contact, but also classic first corner situation.
Yeah, for me, the car from outside was going into the turn one like there was nobody else inside. So for sure, he knew that there are one or at least two cars inside, and he just turned in, and yeah, collision was there. What happened, like second part of the accident, was just racing incident, and it grew up from the first part. So we will think what to do about the first touches.
Thank you, Rallyx. Leave the race director to it, because we are about to get going with the main event, the open four-wheel drive final, to round off a brilliant weekend of action here in Valkenswaard.
Yeah, definitely the start to King's Night here is going to be with our open four-wheel drive supercar final. And we've got some of the best in the business getting ready to hit the track here at the Euro Circuit at Valkenswaard. It is going to be Oliver Eriksson on the front, Anderson outside, Clausen, Nason, Darbeck, and Janssen rounding out our 6-car field. Oliver Eriksson been very strong all weekend long. Watch for that car. Great launch.
Brilliant start for Oliver Eriksson, but it's Lucas Andersson who gets to jump into the first corner. Eriksson drops to third. Round the outside is Clausen, who was so good in the Pro-Am final earlier. He's stuck in the gravel on the outside. The whole pack goes past him, but it's Lucas Andersson who leads up front.
Wow, what a surprise. Somehow Oliver Eriksson ceding the top position to Lucas.
Nason up the inside of Darbeck. Darbeck files to the back of the order. Casper Janssen, they've been working so hard on that car in the background here in the paddock, into the Joker for the first time of asking, and now Ollie Eriksson has a big job to do to try and catch Lucas Andersson on his debut weekend at this level.
Lucas Andersson starting to stretch the gap over Oliver Eriksson. Not something we've seen. Oh, we got a tire off.
Wheel off, I think, for Nason up front. He's just clipped that curb into the gravel on the outside, trying to hang on to the FC2. Great drone shots of that going wide. Nason.
Clausen going to get around.
Is out of this. Clausen, you're right, Jim, is now defending for Darbeck. Janssen, though, in the background, has been in the Joker already. Clausen goes to the Joker. Victor Rank sends him in. Darbeck is on the standard lap. That's another position for Casper Janssen. Casper's had a difficult weekend so far, the reigning FC2 champion. But with Darbeck just ahead, he's in a net podium at the moment, Janssen.
Yeah, Janssen now moving up a spot. We're going to see if he can battle back. Right now up front, it is Anderson and Eriksson. Darbeck in the third spot.
There we see the fight for the lead, and Lucas Andersson is laying down here ahead of Ollie Eriksson. What a brilliant performance from Andersson. Lost his brakes in Q3 earlier on, was slow away. JC Race Technique got that sorted. Ollie Eriksson into the Joker this time around. He's going to maintain second position, yesterday's winner and the championship leader. Darbeck still yet to go in, Jim.
Yeah, we're going to see if Oliver Eriksson can put down a burner of a push lap right now. I would expect to see Anderson go in on this time by. We'll see what happens here. Oliver Eriksson now clean air out front. Going to be trying to push the rest of this field to try and get around Anderson, who's the leader.
We have to see the Joker merge this time around. There is Lucas Andersson, the race leader. The gap across the line was 3.4 seconds. That will be enough unless Ollie Eriksson could deliver something amazing. Andersson sends it into the Joker around the outside. Look at the margin.
Oh,
miles ahead is Lucas Andersson. What a great job.
Massive lead for Lucas Andersson. I mean, Oliver Eriksson been the class of the field today until this race. Lucas Andersson going, look at me. I mean, just absolutely running away with this.
Tested this week in the Ester Ring together with his teammate Carl Svedlin, who's just won the Crosscar final with JC Race Technique, and now leading from the front. OMSE driver Oliver Eriksson is under big pressure from Tobias Darbeck, but Darbeck is still yet to Joker. Casper Janssen, Eriksson's teammate, in there as well.
Darbeck getting a little push there.
There must be something going on with Ericsson's car because he's lost way too much time. Darbeck's going wide into the Joker. I'm sure Ericsson will be able to defend from Janssen in the final couple of corners. But up front, Lucas Anderson takes the win on his debut weekend in open four-wheel drive. What a performance.
And Ericsson going to hold on at the stripe from Casper Janssen just by a nose, but Lucas...
Look at him, head bumping in the car, beyond the radio to his spotter. What a great job. Klaassen, I've been impressed with Klaassen this weekend. There's a late deal to drive the car at home, puts a lot of effort into sponsoring young drivers, drives himself, of course, and with Victor Franks on the radio, has done a stellar job today in the FC2.
And here we got a highlight. We saw Oliver Ericsson get the jump, and then Lucas Anderson just jumping out front in that first corner, and it was just all over from there. Oliver Ericsson just not able to catch him, run him down. It looked like every single lap the margin got bigger and bigger and bigger. You got to think there might have been something going on with Oliver Ericsson's car. So we've got all kinds of chaos going behind the pack, but it was all Lucas Anderson out front.
Possibly straight from the start because he had the initial launch, as you said, and then just lost out in the run to the first corner. Anderson didn't put a foot wrong, did the fastest lap of the race with a 37.3.
There's the tire.
Yeah, that's, I hate seeing wheels come off because you just don't know where they're going, and that's why you have all the protective fencing to stop the wheel going further off than it needs to go.
You'd been talking about that all weekend, Nason, that corner, it can rip a wheel off, and that's what happened.
Exactly what happened, you're right, because you're on the back edge of the curb. The curb's designed to work as a gradient, isn't it? When you're on the back of it, it's just a straight edge, so yeah, big damage for him. This is Darbeck. Solid weekend for Darbeck, but I'm sure they want more going forwards. He was a front runner in Supercar Lights, and it just hasn't really clicked with the FC2 just yet, but I'm sure it'll come. Lucas Anderson, though,
phenomenal effort.
Debut weekend.
Been very fast all weekend and finally put it together when he needed it most. Round 2, the final of open four-wheel drive Supercar. Lucas Anderson, top honors. Oliver Ericsson, amazing that he was able to hold on for second. I know we'll find out later on what happened to that car. I believe it was off pace a little bit, some kind of mechanical issue. And Casper Janssen having a lot of bad luck up until this final, somehow sneaks his way in, clinching a podium on opening weekend. Casper Janssen got to be very pleased with that effort.
For sure, damage limitation. The car was up on stands in the paddock with a lot of work to do. So, yeah, great job from the OMSC team and the Janssen squad to get it sorted and to get it done. What a set of finals.
What a weekend. I mean, not just today, but yesterday as well. Round 1, round 2, different winners, different storylines. I mean, what a way to kick off the 2026 Rallyx season.
Wild, yeah. It's so interesting, isn't it? Because so often you come into these weekends and you're in qualifying and you're like, is this track so good? I love coming here. I love the atmosphere. But the racing in qualifying is always very different. When the semis get going, the pin gets pulled and it just gets absolutely thrown in. And I said to you yesterday, Sunday is always more dramatic on a doubleheader weekend. And absolutely, that I'm not saying I was right necessarily, but just things happen, don't they? Especially when everyone's at the end of a long weekend. Everyone's desperate for a result, willing to push that little bit more. They know they've got a few weeks off. Yeah, today's been dramatic, and I think it's been a brilliant weekend. For the most part, it's been really respectful. There's been some questionable things which have been penalised, but for the most part, I think the racing's been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you. I mean, the racing, some of the closest I've ever seen. I mean, we had Bart Bell in here saying it was the closest two-wheel drive final he's ever seen in his life, and, that's saying something coming from Bart. So just an amazing weekend of racing, great vibe here. I mean, obviously, King's Night coming tonight, King's Day tomorrow here in the Netherlands. Next up, Rallyx will be in action, round 3 and 4, Tierp, Sweden for the Rallyx Extreme weekend. I know that one's going to be exciting. We've got some big storylines I think you and I can talk about before we close out. We were supposed to have a guest in here, Nicholas Grunholm, but he wasn't. But he will be in action in Tierp, I believe, as well as Timmy Hansen.
He will, yes. So Nicholas is, I can't reach him. He's over. You can probably see him in the back. Oh, you can't. I'm always, but there he is. Look, that way. He's by his car. But,
here we go. I'm trying to look over my shoulder. He's back there.
So Nicholas will drive the same car in Tierp. Going against 2019 world champion Timmy Hansen will be pretty exciting. Ollie Ericsson is obviously right on form by winning yesterday. Lucas Anderson is one of the rising stars of Rallycross anywhere. It's going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So thanks to everybody tuning in globally from both Europe and North America. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and Rallyx will be in action in a few weeks in Tierp, Sweden. Watch this space.